They're back! Yes, finally. Bookstores have started to reopen again. Some of them are under certain rules where you have to make an appointment, or where you have to come in one or two people at a time with a face mask and certain restrictions, which are acceptable under the circumstances these days. But the bookstores are back. So that's the headline here. And hi, I'm Gary Lavisi, and I just want to talk about one of our favorite bookstores. Is the Old Bookshop in Morristown, New Jersey, which has just reopened to the public. And they're at 12 John Street, and we're going to give you the information about them. Chris and Virginia are the owners. They're really great people, very knowledgeable book people, and they'll help you with all your book needs. And if you're like me and many other people who have been going cold turkey the last 3 or 4 months, not being able to get to a bookstore, Barnes & Nobles have all been closed. The Mysterious Bookshop in Manhattan has been closed. Morristown and other places have all been closed because of the virus. And now, little by little, everybody's reopening up again, which is great. And in the meantime, some of the stores have picked up some new material, and or some material you haven't seen in 3 or 4 months. And first of all, it's nice to get out and get to a bookstore and look around and find some things. And I happened to find a few things, as is my usual situation. I can't go into a bookstore without buying a few books, but
quite a few,
and I'm going to share those with you. And this is the latest book haul from Morristown Bookstore yesterday. And just want to say that welcome back, Morristown Bookstore, Old Bookshop. Welcome back, Virginia and Chris. May you have many customers coming in and buying your wonderful books. And this is a great store that you should take a look at. In one of my earlier videos, I did a tour of the store, so if you're further interested in what the store looks like, you can see one of the earlier videos. I don't offhand remember the number, but we'll put it in the description below, along with the store's address and phone number.
Right, so if anybody has bookstores in their town, they should go to them and look at them and support them.
Yes.
They need the support right now.
That's another thing that's important. If anybody has bookstores, especially used bookstores or independent bookstores in their town, you should go in. You should buy a book. Buy a few books. Support them, because they've been going through a tough time lately, and
like
all of us, and we don't want to have these stores closed. We want them to continue to be open, to be offering books for us, so that we can have enjoy the books that we want to read, and we can get our fix. Okay, but it's true. Support these stores. I've done videos on the book shows, and unfortunately, a lot of the book shows have been canceled or postponed. But hopefully, in the fall or the winter, the shows will come back. But we want to make sure that the bookstores come back too, now that they're reopening. Support them. Support Barnes & Noble too. I mean, what the heck? All the stores, they need your help. And buy a few books from them. Mysterious Bookshop and the Old Bookshop in Morristown, New Jersey, certainly. So without further ado, I just want to show you some of the books that I bought. Here's the spines, the colorful books. Always nice condition at reasonable prices. So let me just put on my glasses so I can see what I'm doing, because I'm blind as a bat. And we're going to look at some books now, if you don't mind. I hope you don't mind. And the first one we're going to look at is The Risky Escapades of a Passionate Playgirl. This is a French model, Beacon book number 133 by Cecil Barr. Early Beacon book. And this girl is the model is on a lot of these books, early Beacon books and digests too. She's on Intimate and Uni books and some of the others. So she was quite a I don't know if she was a famous model, but she was definitely used on the covers of a lot of paperbacks.
She was a busy model.
She was a busy model. Busy, busy, busy. Cornell Woolrich was a great suspense crime noir writer, and he wrote hard-boiled fiction as William Irish, and this is one of his early reprint of one of his books as William Irish. It's graphic book number 16 from 1949, and the graphic book symbol was the turn of the screw, like the Henry James novel. It's the tension and the stress of mystery crime fiction. So this is William Irish, Deadline at Dawn.
I like the cover too.
It is nice. Next book is an interesting one. Is The Day New York Went Dry by Charles Einstein. This is gold medal K1.
Any relation?
You're a Badinsky today,
Sorry,
aren't
I'm sorry.
you?
I'm sorry.
It's not. Yeah, Charles
It's not a
Einstein
common name.
was not Herbert Einstein's brother, or even
Albert's?
Yeah. Gold medal K1446, The Day New York Went Dry. This is a paperback original gold medal book from 1964, and it takes place in 1967. The water is turned off in the city. It's a kind of a end of the world story. Pretty cool book, pretty cool story. Next one is Galaxy science fiction novel 242, The Deviates by Raymond F. Jones. This is from about 1959. This is Beacon Galaxy. I've done a video previously where I went through all of the Beacon Galaxy books. These are really cool. The Galaxy science fiction novels were, of course, from Galaxy magazine, and they published them as digests throughout the 50s. And then the last four were paperback size, and then they continued them in Beacon books, but they gave them a sleaze kind of format with the artwork that's made them quite collectible. Next one is a really beautiful, beautiful copy of Neutron Star by Larry Niven. It's Ballantine U6120, and it's a first book edition from 1968. It's got 8 of his stories, best stories. Larry Niven has written some great stuff, and this is a beautiful book. And just look at that. That's 1968. That is a 52-year-old paperback. Next one is If This Goes On, edited by Charles Neutzel, and this is a Book Company of America book number 015, or number 13. It's got 2 different numbers on it. I never knew which one, actually, which designation was correct. But this has Asimov, Bradbury, Brown, Lieber, Willie Ley, Richard Matheson, Wollheim, A.E. Van Voigt, and the cover art is by Neutzel also. Forrest Ackerman introduction. Charles Neutzel is the editor, and I believe his brother. I think his brother's name was Albert Neutzel, but I think this is his brother's artwork, or maybe it is Charles. I'm not sure exactly, but it is signed Neutzel. And this is a Book Company of America, kind of a obscure LA West Coast paperback publisher, and they didn't publish a lot of books, and these are kind of uncommon, and they're uncommon more in the the rest of the country, although on the West Coast where they were published there, you can usually find them every once in a while. Another really cool book is Century Books, published digests and paperbacks, westerns, crime novels in digest and paperback size. Some of the paperback ones I really like. This is number 116. It's Time Trap by Rog Phillips, and this was the one with the great three-eyed girl cover art. She's holding some kind of fantastic, I don't know, it's like a flashlight ray gun, and she's dressed appropriately for a science fiction good girl art cover, and it's just a beautiful, cool cover of a time-traveling science fiction novel from Century Books. We've got a Ace Double. This is the early one, Ace number D16. That's from 1953, and this is a crime double, Crime d'Amour by Paul Bourget, and on the other side is Germain by Ian J. D. Goncourt, I guess. Nice, beautiful ace double, early ace double from 1953, and yeah, I don't know who did the art on this side. Beautiful cover art, and this side is done by Saunders. This is a Saunders cover. Another early ace is Ace D50, and it's this one is 1954, and it's got Baden by
I like that title.
Orzo Grant. Ace paperback original, great cover art. I think Dan Roberts owned the cover art at one time of this book, this cover. And the other one is Mating Call by William Shaw. William Shaw did some books in the Ace S series, which is I took a look at in an earlier video. Next is Midwood number 16, early Midwood, 1959, beautiful copy. Summer Romance by Ori Hitt. Ori Hitt wrote a lot of really good noir, sleaze, kind of risque novels. Very interesting character, interesting writer, and he wrote interesting books. And all his books are published. Midwood, Beacon, other publishers. You know, it was all kinds of sleaze, risque stuff with really great good girl art covers. Next is this is a book Avon book that I do not have, and I never actually seen or don't remember seeing, and it's Avon number 204. It's by the famous horror writer Hugh Walpole, and it's Portrait of a Man with Red Hair. I've never seen that, and it's a early horror, classic horror novel. Back to Ori Hitt again, and this time with Beacon Books. This is Beacon number 378, and it's from, this is a Canadian edition, and it was published in 1956. And it's Unfaithful Wives by Ori Hitt. Next one is Avon book 337 from 1951, The Agony Column by Earl Dare Biggers, the creator of Charlie Chan. I don't believe that this is a Charlie Chan novel, though. It's a nice Avon. Next one is Avon Books also published Eaton Books, E-T-O-N, and Eaton Books was a kind of an interesting short-run series of books, maybe 18 or 20 or 22 books, something like that. They were short size and they were also tall size. They published hard-boiled crime, and they published non-fiction books about dieting or about different reference subjects. They also published Wortham's book, one of his books, not Seduction of the Innocent, but another one of his books on psychotherapy and stuff. But they published some really good crime. This is Eaton book number E116, and it's not a great copy, but it's a nice book, a good book, very collectible.
Can we see it? Oh, thank
Marijuana Mob, The Marijuana Mob by James Hadley Chase. It was originally published, figure it out for yourself, but Eaton decided to play up the drug dope peddling aspect of the story, which actually is a better title for the book.
So it looks like Eaton is written very much in same way
yes,
as
it is.
Avon.
In fact, if you just take a look here, they did the same. So here you can see clearly the Avon.
Wait, let me get closer.
You can see the Avon Books logo, and then here you can see the Eaton Books logo, and it's basically a circle with and this has the AVON.
The O-N is exactly.
And then this has the ETON, Eaton. I don't know why they did this. It's I don't know why they did Avon. There's a lot of early Avon stuff that there's questions about what they did and why. There's Diversity Books, which was named after Diversity Street in Chicago, published a lot of digests and books, and then they were reprinted as Avon Digest and then Avon Books. So there's a lot of, and also Novel Library was Avon imprint. So they had a lot of imprints in those days. Next book is Woman Hunt by Ori Hint. Again, he had taken his fill of Cynthia, now he lusted for Sherry. And these were like the story of a hunter who stalked strange game, packs the wallop of a high-powered rifle. This is Beacon 197, and that's Woman Hunt by Ori Hint. So that's a group. We're going to move these up, and we're going to go to the next group. Beautiful Western, Luke Short. This is a Dell First Edition, Luke Short, Wanted, Dead. It's a Bold Rider by Luke Short. Let's just see. Bill Raywig did the cover art. The Dell First Editions, the original series had this design, first edition, and the numbers, and these are really cool books. This is one that I've never seen, at least as far as I can remember. I may end up having it. I have to check my Dell First Edition collection, but I really like those. I really like these. Next book is a very interesting science fiction novel from 1995. It's a first edition. It's If I Die on the Jersey Front by M. Collins, and this is a Orchid Press book, and it's a America, and basically it's a race. It's a novel about a race war. This is New Africa, this part of the United States, southern area of the United States has been taken over, and whites and blacks are fighting each other, in a race war that happens and the country splits up. But the story is a white woman and a black man who are in love with each other and who fight together to, to help all the different people, survive and live and work together. And it's a really good book. It's a positive book about a very tough subject, but it's science fiction. I mean, this is what there's a lot of science fiction that deals with subject matter that's sometimes intense. It's a good book. The next one is The Ranch Cat by William Hobson, and this is a Western, Lion Book number 66, and this is from Lion Books from 1951, and has a cover art
Nice cover.
by Mitchell Hooks. It's a wraparound, and you can see Mike Hook's signature right there, but you can also see his signature.
Oh, this is the one you got a surprise?
Yeah, this is a surprise. And when I opened the book, somebody had written in the book, and it was marked as $5. But so this is Mitchell Hooks. I knew Mitchell Hooks, and I know his signature. So this is his signature, and so he signed this. This is one of his
Probably
books
at
he
your
signed.
show.
So it's pretty cool. It's really nice to have a vintage paperback from 1951 signed by Hooks, who did the cover art. Next book is an interesting one. It's a reprint, but it's a Belmont hard crime novel, reprinted from 1971. It's Shake Him Till He Rattles by Malcolm Braley. And if you like hard-boiled stuff, Malcolm Braley is a great writer. Yeah, I believe he was spent some time in prison, and his books are very hard-boiled, very tough crime, and excellent stuff. This is a reprint of, I think it's the gold medal book that came out in the 50s. So this is from 1972, Belmont edition. And the next book is A Doctor and His Mistress by Ori Hitt, the sensational story of a doctor's illicit romance and its terrible consequences. So this is another one of those. This is Midward book number 38 from 1959. And it's another one of those doctor and patient books. Next one is a really beautiful copy of Novel Library number 9, The Street of Painted Lips by Maurice de Cobra. Gorgeous copy. I mentioned Novel Library. They were affiliated in some ways with Avon Books, and this is just really sharp. Look at how white the back is. So this book is probably 70 years old. So you see a white back cover like that, hardly any age. It's a beautiful, stunning copy. The next one is Avon 410. From 1952, The Secret Adversary by Agatha Christie. Another famous Agatha Christie crime novel, murder mystery. And so you have Agatha Christie, then you have here John Dixon Carr, another famous mystery crime writer. And this one is The Four False Weapons. It's Berkeley Books number G91, an Inspector Ben Colin mystery. And this is The Four False Weapons. Cover art is by Robert McGuire. I believe it's signed down here. Beautiful copy, beautiful book. And the next one is Living Way Out, science fiction. It's by Wyman Gwynn. It's Avon paperback original S298, and this is from 1967. It has a Ron Wolotsky cover. And the reason why I bought this is because it was incredibly inexpensive, and it was just so beautiful, so beautiful. I mean, I says, my God, see a copy like that, so nice. I just said I gotta buy it. Just gotta get it. Another book that's really cool is The Ant-Men by Eric North. This is a McFadden-Bartel book from 1967. Science fiction, giant ants, and takes place in Australia. I believe Eric North was an Australian author. He's written a couple of books, a few different things, but this is the first printing. There's also a reprint on this with similar cover art by McFadden, but this is the first McFadden printing. And this is a cool book. I read this when I was a kid. When I was a kid, this book came out in 1967. I bought this book, and I remember, it's kind of funny because I bought it and had it with me. My mother took me shopping, and we went into a department store, and while she was browsing and looking at different things, I was sitting in one of the chairs in one of the in the store somewhere, where husbands and children sit while they're sat where their wives and mothers go shopping in the store. Well, this was like in 1967. I had bought this book then. It was 60 cents, which was a lot of money, and I was reading it that time, and I really liked it. And ever since that day, I always liked it. It was a cool book. People come upon like giant ants in the Australian outback, and it's a really cool book.
It's like them.
Yeah, it's like them, but with giant ants. Yeah, instead of well,
there were giant
ants in them too. Yeah. Well, it's in Australia.
Oh, okay.
So.
That's the difference.
Okay. Yeah, but them had flying ants.
Yeah, they were much bigger than these ants.
Yeah. Okay, and the next book is Go by Cleon Holmes, a modern novel of youth in search of kicks. This is ace number D238. This is from around there's no date on it, it's probably from around 1954 or so. This is a first paperback printing. It's a juvenile delinquent crime gang novel. And it's pretty hard to find. It's pretty tough to find, so it's a pretty good book. Next one is Early Midwoods, which I happen to like a lot. The ones numbered on the spine. This is number 58. This is Sabrina and the Senator by Nick Vender, and this is probably from 1959. 1960, and it has a Raider cover. Beautiful copy. This is a really beautiful copy. And I like these early Midwoods with the Midwood number on the spine like that. And they also have the number on the cover. The next book is Trapped by Ori Hitt, Beacon B186, and a frank, shocking story of the career of the Camera Club racket and the girl trapped in a life of shame. So this is Trapped by Ori Hitt. Camera clubs are interesting. They're not known, not remembered much anymore, but especially in California and on the West Coast, you had what they called camera clubs, and this is when guys coming back from the war were getting interested in photography, and a lot of them were interested, some of them were interested in photography, taking pictures of landscapes or different things, but some of them were interested in photography of taking naked women, and they were interested in pin-up art and risque photos and stuff like that. So you had models that would model for the so-called camera clubs in those days. Betty Page was a model for a camera club, I think, and other famous models actually, and they would they would be make themselves available, for as models for groups of for a fee for men to take photos of them. Most of the photography was not nude photography, and it was not porno at all. It was basically art photos and sexy kind of photos. Because this was in those days. This was in the 40s, 50s, and 60s, which is a different time and a simpler time. Next book is a nice gold medal Western, number 1035, and it's a first edition from 1960, paperback original, Texas Fever by Donald Hamilton. Donald Hamilton is the guy who wrote a lot of crime spy novels. He's the creator of no, I can't remember.
Sounds like books, pulps, what?
Death of a Citizen was the first book in the series, and it is an incredible hard-boiled crime read. And Donald Hamilton
Hammer,
wrote
Helm.
No, forget about it. And Donald Hamilton wrote a lot of westerns before he started writing the hard-boiled crime.
Would it be one I know?
Yeah, it would be one you know.
Doc Savage.
No, it's not Doc Savage. Anyway, it's just so it's just slipping my
mind.
mind.
Did the other dude.
Yeah, it's just slipping my mind right now because
yeah,
you're getting me all. You're throwing me
I'm
off.
so sorry.
Just be sorry. You're so sorry. You know what? Kiss my fist.
Ah.
Kiss my fist. Damn it. All right. Well, that brings us to the next book.
Would have been better cover if she was blonde.
Eaton book number E112.
Eaton again.
And it's
that's hard to say. Eaton.
Yeah, Eton, like the college in England. It's this is a 1952, and it's Kiss My Fist by James Hadley Chase. An Eton book again with the logo that looks like Avon, and a very violent, brutal cover of a guy slugging a gal. And
that cover is very much like the cover of Junkie, I think.
Looks
the skirt,
similar kind of.
The chair tilted. It needs a table, and instead of slugging her, you'd be grabbing the needle or something from her. But that's what it reminds me of, I should say.
Yeah.
It reminds me. Do you know who did that cover?
No, I do not.
How about a Junkie? You know who did the cover of Junkie?
Junkie, I think I don't know. It might have been Saunders.
I'm
not sure. And the last one we've got is Monarch, and it's Monarch number 143, and it's Jack the Ripper by Stuart James. And I'm not sure Stuart James. I'm not sure if Stuart James was Mike Avalone or not. Probably not. But this is a kind of scarce crime horror, Jack the Ripper novel from the early 60s, and it's Monarch Books. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to put in the description the name of the author.
Maybe it'll come to you.
I mean the name of the character, Donald Hamilton's.
So name some character.
Began with Death of a Citizen. Sometimes it's so obvious to remember things and you can't remember them. But I'll put it in there.
D, E, F, G.
Don't.
Usually helps me remember.
Okay. Anyway, I just want to thank you all for looking at this book haul, and that I picked up at the old bookshop in Morristown, New Jersey, the other day. Support your local bookstores. Go in. Find some books to buy and read.
Call first, see if they're taking appointments or whatever.
Call them, see
what
if
their protocol is. If you
you have to see what the protocol is these days. If they're taking appointments, if they're open on certain days, and how many people are allowed in the store at one time. Sometimes it's 4 or 6 people, depending on the size of the store. Maybe it's 20 or 30, might be. So just it's always good to check ahead anyway, especially in these times. But go there. You'll find some great stuff to read, and you have some fun. You get out of the house, get to enjoy yourself. You know what you do while you're well, this is what I'm going to do with my friend Bruce Tinkle and his wife. We're gonna go out to a bookstore, and then we're gonna go to a restaurant. A lot of the restaurants are opening up now, and they're having outside dining under a tent, under giant tents where tables are, you know, suitably separated, you know, and you can have a nice lunch or dinner there too. So that's what I think we're going to do.
Something to look forward to.
Something to look forward to. Yes, thank you. From the hidden voice, from the ether, that is a real Badinsky. You really exceeded your authority here.
I'm sorry. I will dummy up from
No,
now
don't
on.
dummy up. Don't dummy up. I have had many comments from viewers of these
What did
videos.
Don Hamilton write?
Yeah, I can't think of the name.
I think it's I can't believe it.
It's Death of a Citizen is the first book in the series, and they're
Did
terrific.
he do pulps? Or
No,
just
it was Dean Martin played him in the movie.
Dean Martin.
So I can't remember. But anyway, what I was going to say. What was I going to say? Oh,
Go to your local
what I was going to
bookstore.
say is that a lot of people enjoy your comments and your input into these videos, which I want you to continue them. Everybody who enjoys Lucille's comments to the videos, give us a thumbs up and a like. Anyway, go to your local bookstore and give them your support, because they could use it, especially these days.
Yeah.
You know, and find a book that you want to read and love. And you know, there's a guy named Gary Lovisi who also has some books, and you can maybe even buy one of his. Maybe I don't know, if you want to read something really good. I hope. Anyway, just to say hi and thank you for your support of this channel, and for your comments, and for all that you've done to help me have the enthusiasm to do these videos, because they're fun to do. It's a lot of work sometimes, but they're fun, and I hope you enjoy them. What I want to do is I just like to get out to people. Like, this is what I do with Paperback Parade also. It's just to get out to people so that they can see, like, the interesting, cool, like, books that are out there. And you don't have to collect everything. You don't have to collect them. But just to see them sometimes, and to know that there's different things out there, and what was around, what was being published and printed, different editions, different cover art over the years, over the many years, it's interesting, you know, especially if you're a book person like me. So with that, thanks for looking, and we'll see you next time.